I'm Dollar Store Timothy Chalamet, and welcome to Channel Whatever News Quarantine Edition. For those of you who didn't know me back in my prime, when I was 15, I made a series of short, funny news videos with my little brother and our neighbors at the time, Annette and Renata. They were awful, but they were fun to make, and they're still public on YouTube if you want to subject yourself to this.
What happened to Annette? I didn't lock her in a closet. Let me out!
Fast forward not enough years. It's 2020, I'm in film school, and one of the classes I'm taking this semester is comedy writing for late night television, which is convenient because the world's gone to shit. I think that laughter is the best way to cope with anything, and it would do us all some good to remind ourselves that there are good things happening in the world. So here I am in my homemade late night studio that'll either get me extra credit or an instant fail. Time will tell, but for now, my only goal is to make your day a little bit better and hopefully make you laugh a little, or at least like blow air out of your nose like you do when you see a mildly funny meme on Twitter. So let's get into it. Wading through the news in times like these can be exhausting, so I did the work for you. You're welcome. Here are some of the best and brightest headlines from the past couple weeks. A Dutch zoo debuted their adorable new polar bear cubs. Normally, this would be a public event, but I think it's for the best that it wasn't. When twins get too famous too soon, it leads to bad, bad things.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
A Californian man has opened up a free toilet paper exchange in order to help out his neighbors. Some people, however, misunderstood the concept and tried to pay for their toilet paper with cash, credit, and their firstborn children. This next bit of news isn't necessarily good news, as it is just delightfully bizarre. In southern Florida, there is a cow, quote, on the loose and wanted by police. I don't even have a joke for this one, I just want to read you the way this article is written. Police spokeswoman Amanda Conwell said officers and wranglers have been unable to catch the animal and have backed off when it gets too close to heavily traveled roads. It jumps fences, she said. It goes into pools. Police also say the cow is guilty of moving violations, uttering false checks, and fleeing and eluding police. These are direct quotes. That's exactly what it says in the article. I hope they never catch her. I hope she lives a long, long life as Florida's most notorious criminal, and then when she dies, I want them to make an Oscar-winning movie about her. One final piece of good news. Mel C, aka Sporty Spice, has stated that once this is all over, she would love for the Spice Girls to do a US reunion tour. So if you want to be their lover, stay the f*** at home. Do not mess this up for us. This has been No Bad Vibes. Now, I'm getting a little bored of just sitting here talking to a camera, so I'm going to talk to some people. My first guest is one of my best friends in the entire world, Lauren Christensen, and she's going to talk to us about the art she's been working on.
Hi, Lauren.
Hello.
So you are a nursing student. You just got
Yes, I am.
accepted to your school's nursing program, which I'm so proud of you for.
Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Yay!
But you're also an artist,
Yeah.
which is very cool. So you've brought a drawing to show us today.
Yes, I did. So if we look at this one here, I think that'll work.
It's beautiful.
There we go. Yes. So this one main character that I wanted to show off a little bit. So they were like a conglomeration of all of my friends, our friend group, contributing one trait or something to this character in separate text messages and then conglomerating them together into one person.
How long have you been drawing?
I mean, I've been drawing probably all my life, but as far as drawing for the purpose of trying to improve, probably about 3 to 4 years. And then ever since then, it's just been kind of practicing and developing and changing things as I went along.
How would you say your art style has developed since you started like really working on it?
I mean, I think the biggest change would probably be just developing my own style, because the way I would practice would be to trace other people's work or other people's art. Like I would literally stick paper onto my computer screen to trace on the work and get that kind of hand-eye coordination down. And it was more for fun for me, but like I didn't realize at the time that it was practicing. And then I used to essentially copy the style of like other artists that I'd seen on like Tumblr or Pinterest or like YouTube, like those animating YouTubers and things like that. Like I would directly copy those, and then going from there, kind of developing how I draw hands or how I draw hair or how I draw eyes, like are different and has changed over the last couple of years. I think the most noticeable change for me at least was the way I drew eyes. Like I used to draw them as just like black circles with like little dots in them, but now I do them a lot more like expressive with like more kind of eye shape stuff rather than like actually colored irises and things like that, rather than just a black dot essentially.
How do you get ideas for your work?
I get inspiration from kind of anywhere. Lately, I've been doing a lot of kind of re-envisioning places or things as people, looking at, because that gives some, it helps me practice clothing and styles. Like I'm not as good with coming up with my own outfits and things like that when it comes to drawing, so I always get inspiration from other pictures that I see. So looking at a thing like an object or a place and being able to say, okay, how would this place be interpreted as a person, is a way I've been kind of practicing and developing inspiration.
Do you have any examples of those drawings?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. So, for those people who watch Doctor Who, I've been drawing the interiors of the TARDIS, the famous police phone box, as people. And so I've been developing. I want to make sure it's in frame.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so if you look at the interior of the 9th and 10th Doctor's TARDIS, it does have very yellow, grunge kind of look to it, with black wires hanging off and these hexagonal round things on the sides. Very yellow color scheme. So if a person were to try to dress as that or in that style, what would they dress as? What would they look like? And same goes for the other two TARDISes with 11 and 12, who have very, very different and drastically different styles of interiors. How would that get developed as well? So looking at angles versus, kind of harsher angles versus round, kind of whimsical, kind of, I guess, clunky or like jangly and with lots of little bits and pieces, versus this one is very kind of simple and clean and minimalist almost, but it has some very distinct style to it. And just kind of, that's kind of where I get inspiration, is things like that, of finding very iconic things and how can you incorporate those iconic things into an outfit or a hairstyle or a person.
So I think we're out of time.
Okay.
So I gotta
Thanks for
move on.
having me on. This was fun.
Thank you for being my first guest.
Yes.
I think you did well.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Hopefully we can have you on again if I continue doing this.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Bye.
Bye.
My next guest is my very dear friend Morgan Thomas, and she's going to be showing us her quarantine project.
Hi, what's up?
Hi. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to see your workshop you're showing us today.
Yes, so I have this old playhouse that my dad and I built starting when I was like 10 years old. It never really got turned into a playhouse. but I wanted to start turning into a wood shop because I'm working on a couple projects for my sister's wedding that's coming up, and yeah.
What are you working on for the wedding?
Okay, so right now I'm working on really cool cornhole boards. How do I flip camera? There it is. So this is after you pour resin over it and paint it and such. So it's nice and glossy. It'll reserve the nice clean cut of the board. You can tell that it's a raw slab of wood, which is something that you don't typically see at a hardware store.
Nice.
So you kind of have to go out and find something like that. But that's it stained before resin is poured over, and you see the difference. So that's something I'm going to be working on today. I got drill press set up over here, some just random tools, stuff like that. I have a couple heaters going. Right now I have my lathe set up. I started working on a lathe project, trying to make a pen, and as you can see, the wood actually split while I was turning, which was really sad, but it's another project I got. I got some tool organization going on over here, screws and stuff. It's pretty cool. I do have a couple whiteboards, so if I do want to do something bigger, I can. We have a couple more tools that we want to take from my dad's tool room and bring out here because they're tools I use and he doesn't. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Are there any other additions you're going to be making to it?
So for right now, I can't really do much, especially since it's raining outside. But eventually when the weather gets nice and Corona ends, hopefully, I did have a hammock and hammock swing set up in here, so I'm going to actually relocate that outside so then you can sunbathe and relax instead of sitting indoors and relax. At some point, we want to make a little lumber mill. So what people can do from home is actually make like a sawmill, but instead of using like one of those really big saws that cost like thousands of dollars, you can actually hook up a chainsaw to it. So that's something we're going to do at some point this summer, probably.
How long, like how many hours per day do you think you spend in your workshop?
Oh, it's my only way of getting away from my parents, so hours. I do things here and there. When I'm waiting for my resin to dry, which can take 24 to 48 hours, actually, I mess around a little bit. Like you can see, I was trying to do something on the lathe that didn't work, but I'm thinking about using a harder material, actually, to make a pen casing, which will look really nice. It'll be something kind of unique. So you can use deer antlers or whatever. The problem is you have to wear a mask and glasses because basically you're breathing in bone residue when you're turning it on the lathe. So I might add another window right up there. So so the sunset goes on this hill that's behind here. And so if I put a window up there, that'll create a nice look when it's setting. So
That'll be great. Well,
it'll
it
be
sounds
nice.
like you've got an awesome setup to pass the time during quarantine.
I'm trying.
Yeah, aren't we all?
That's true.
So I think that's the 5 minutes. But thank you so much for volunteering to be on here.
No problem.
It
Anytime.
means a lot to me.
My final guest is my brilliant friend Maeve Aurora Chapman, who is a playwright and director.
Hi, Maeve.
Hi.
How are you handling quarantine?
I really haven't gotten bored yet, which I'm very shocked at myself for, because I need to always be doing something, so it's okay. How's your quarantine?
It's all right. I'm keeping myself very busy. Lots of projects.
Yeah, same.
So speaking of projects, before all this started, you directed a play called Vera or the Nihilists, which I still think about daily. It's probably one of my favorite productions I've ever seen of anything. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, first, I just feel so lucky that my production got to go up because it was like the only production that Emerson theater did really, which is very lucky. I think I'm very, very proud of that show because we only had 3.5 weeks to do all that, which is insane considering the timeline for other shows. It really pushed me to be effective with my time, and like I think the best part of that show for me was the group that we have, because each show I've worked on has always had like an amazing group, cast and crew, like, but for some reason just like the 9 cast and the crew, we just like, we still talk daily, which is shocking because it's been like a month, but just the like heart we have with each other was truly like special.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, what was the first play or thing you directed?
The first play I directed was my junior year of high school. We had like, at my high school, we had like student theater fest. What was it called? I don't remember. I was the drama club president. I completely forget. But it's called a Star-Crossed Rebound, which that was in things that should be written 2 years ago. Anyway. It was the first play I wrote and the first play I directed. Our auditorium was shut down because it was flooded. So we went to our elementary school, our little stage. But yeah, it was about Romeo trying to wake Juliet up, then Rosalind and Juliet running off together. So that was fun.
I love it. How do you think you've grown as a director since then?
I understand a lot more because no one teaches you how to direct. It took until this year for me to take a directing class. I think the best way to learn how to direct is to just be directed, understand what you don't like. Up until this year, I haven't had a director that I liked. My high school director was literally a tyrant. We called him Tyrant, and I helped get him fired. So I learned a lot of what not to do. But I learned, at least my philosophy theory is that since I'm also trained as an actor, the core, at least what I'm taught, which is very like Meisner, is that acting is just listening and reacting. I think directing is very similar. You just have to be able to listen and follow your intuition and react to what the situation needs.
Yes, I'll be taking that advice because I'm still just kind of starting out as a director. But we are both writers and directors, so you had the idea to play Never Have I Ever Writer and Director Edition, which I'm very excited about. So I have my list pulled up here. You want to go first?
Sure. Okay. Never have I ever hated the way a project turned out.
I definitely have. I'm not going to go into details on that one, but never have I ever killed a character off.
Never have I ever blatantly disagreed with a writing teacher.
Yeah. Never have I ever made my actors Meisner in rehearsal. We have very different opinions on that.
I didn't make theater people do it. I didn't.
Really?
Well, I did for one day, and then it didn't. Yeah. A lot of my direction comes from what acting class I'm taking at the moment. Mm. So I was, unfortunately for you, I was taking Meisner during. Never have I ever hired someone we regret working with.
I don't know if I have.
Good for you.
I've been very lucky. Never have I ever choreographed a dance sequence. Ooh. You didn't do the choreography for Vera?
No, it was Steve Manley. Do you know Manley from Dream Barn?
I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
It was Manley. He literally came and stayed in my dorm for 3 days.
That's great.
Thank you for thinking I could choreograph that, though. Never have I ever wished an evil fate on someone because they showed up late to call.
Yeah, that's the stage manager in me. Never have I ever had a stage play fully produced.
Never have I ever stayed up to at least 3 a.m. writing.
I've definitely done that. Nightly, pretty much.
Yeah.
Never have I ever given a character an accent.
I didn't give any characters accents. No, I haven't. They just give them to themselves. Never have I ever canceled plans to continue writing.
I've definitely done that. Never have I ever had a budget of more than $200.
So lucky.
How
Not
many
an Effie
years
yet.
do you have left?
I'm done.
Oh, I win. I think that's just because I haven't directed nearly as much as you have.
But my next question was never have I ever directed film, because I have not. You have.
I've done that, yeah.
And I'm so excited for your film, The Morning
Me
After.
too. I can't wait. It's in post-production now. I'm so excited for it. Looks good. I should be seeing the rough cut in a couple weeks, hopefully.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see it when it comes out.
me too. Well, thank you so much for coming on this little show.
Thank you for having
with
me.
It was a lot of fun. I hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. I really miss you.
I miss you too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Before I send you back out into the real world or back to your Netflix binge, I want to leave you with some pieces of really good news. No jokes for these ones, just reminders that there are good things happening right now, even when it doesn't feel like it. Taylor Swift has sent 2 donations of $3,000 to fans who are struggling to pay their bills due to being out of work because of the coronavirus. One of those fans was about to have to leave her city because she couldn't afford to live there anymore, and she cites Swift as the reason she's able to stay in her home. Smile Direct Club, a company known for their teeth straightening technology, has shifted, quote, a significant portion of their 3D printing capabilities to making face shields for medical workers. They can make up to 7,500 shields a day, and they're currently working on designing respirator masks that can be sanitized and reused. This last one is a welcome break from coronavirus news, and honestly kind of a big deal that got lost in the chaos of the past couple weeks. England's Department of Health, after years of efforts by activists, will be fully funding PrEP, which is a drug that prevents HIV. There was previously a limit on how many people had access to this potentially life-saving medication, but now sexual health clinics will be able to administer it to anyone who's at significant risk for the virus. Even though it may not feel like it, there are good things happening in the world right now. We will get through this, and we'll get through it together. Stay home, stay safe, and stay strong. I'm 2009, Dan is not on fire, and this is Channel Whatever News.